Hello and welcome to EuroFootball Daily, where today we're looking at the early returns across Europe to find 3 superstars who don't deserve a place in their country's World Cup squad. We've got 3 huge players on our list, so let us know who else we could have included in the comments. Let's get into it. Timo Werner. A return to German football was widely regarded as a good move for Timo Werner in the summer, after 2 lacklustre years, admittedly yielding 3 trophies with Chelsea. But his form back in his homeland has not yet hit the heights it did before he left, while his form for his homeland has also been short of glittering, the striker spurning 2 good scoring opportunities in Germany's 3-3 draw with England in September, and taking a grand total of 8 shots in his last 16 international appearances. In fairness to the 26-year-old, he's found Leipzig in troubles of their own, the East German side sacking their coach for the 2nd autumn in a row, and on the face of it, his top-line stats are respectable, with 3 goals and an assist in 8 appearances, the 2nd best in the squad. Under the hood, there's been an improvement too, with expected goals and assists per 90 up to 0.8 from around 0.6 in London, and firmly in elite territory, though still down on the 0.92 he managed in his first spell with the club. But those numbers are slightly misleading. 2/3 of his goals and XG for the season came in one game, against bottom of the table Bochum, and his English finishing seems to have transferred back across the channel. In his last full season in Leipzig in 2019-20, Werner scored 6 more goals than XG predicted, and the season before that he managed 1 more. He put over half of his shots on target, but now just 37% of his attempts trouble the keeper, and shots overall are slightly down from 3.8 to 3.7, while he's also creating just 0.8 chances a game compared to 1.7 at his best. So he's playing a more limited role, and while the XG and shot numbers are good enough to suggest the goals will come, you'd hope that by asking him to do less in build-up, he'd get more chances in the box. Instead, he's just doing less everywhere, with his actions leading to shots, essentially an all-purpose measure of cutting edge, dropping all the way from 3.8 per 90 to 1.6. Other players currently contributing at that level, Ben White and Leeds defender Pascal Struijk. Defensive actions are lower than ever too, with under 1 tackle or interception every 2 games. Dribbles have sunk to 1.5 a game, lower than 2 of his last 3 seasons in Germany, and meanwhile Chelsea fans won't be surprised to hear that he's constantly miscontrolling the ball and getting dispossessed, close to 6 times a game. His worst mark at Stamford Bridge was 4.4. Still, with 18 goals and assists in his last 31 international games, Werner is unlikely to lose his spot on the German plane to Qatar, and the lack of proven alternatives will help him too. But without an improvement soon, Hansi Flick might be tempted by a new solution. Perhaps Bremen's Niklas Füllkrug on 8 and 9 so far this season, a youngster like Enmaker or Adeyemi, or even a quality contributor from a different position like Havertz, Gnabry, Musiala or Müller. This World Cup may be too soon for Werner to lose his spot, but without a confidence boost in the near future, it's a matter of time before he drops out of the Mannschaft for good. Jadon Sancho. Manchester United fans were positive on Jadon Sancho for most of 2022. After a shocking start to his spell at Old Trafford, it looked like last season he was slowly playing his way into form. But with a quarter of the 22-23 campaign gone, it's time to be honest about the situation. Sancho is currently playing the worst football of his career. 2 goals in 9 games means the 22-year-old is already a third of the way to his tally of 6 contributions across the whole of last term. But even that meagre total is still an overperformance of his underlying stats, with just 0.3 expected goals and assists per 90, about what you'd expect from a decent midfielder, not a supposedly world-class attacking talent. For context, it's about the same as Aston Villa's Jacob Ramsey or Newcastle's Kieran Trippier. Of course, we didn't expect Sancho to replicate his record of 77 goal involvements in 76 games in Germany, but while some struggles were to be expected, the numbers are falling in every department. 0.7 shots per game is awful, and a huge drop from his previous worst mark of 1.2, while 1.3 chances created a match is another career low, under half what he put up for Dortmund. He isn't even playing the pass before the killer ball right now, completing only 0.9 passes into the box per 90, this time a massive slump from 3.5 at BVB, and when it comes to playing it upfield, he's out of sorts too, managing just 3.3 progressive passes per appearance, his lowest output since the 2017-18 season when he was 17 years old. Also ranking in the bottom 10% of wingers and attacking midfielders for pressing, there's really only one bright spot left in his game, and that's ball carrying. This shouldn't be downplayed. United's inability to move forward from midfield is what has led Ten Hag to deploy Eriksen deep, needing someone who can play on the half turn, so Sancho's skill at picking up the ball and driving forward is absolutely vital if the Red Devils are to improve as an attacking force. But even in this department, Sancho's work is a mixed bag. He still dribbles roughly as successfully as before, a fairly average 54% completion rate, but is down to 1.5 take-ons a game from 4 2 years ago, and even 2.3 last season. On the other hand, his carries into the penalty area are still strong at 1.9 a game, and progressive carries are at 7, both numbers which represent a drastic decline from his German ones, but still compare well to other highly rated young forwards like Martinelli. Sancho is also dispossessed less than he was in his youth, so it's likely that with time, this ability will blossom into something extremely beneficial for United, as the Englishman gets stronger and more experienced. And if the rest of the team become better in possession, Sancho will also be able to take more risks, something he was allowed when he wore the yellow shirt. Though of course, the signing of Antony might mean that the Brazilian is given the license Sancho really needs. Not everyone gets to be a soloist. Still, Sancho seemed much more closer to the finished article when United bought him, with an amazing ability to dribble upfield, as well as providing a great outlet for his team, ranking in the top 10% of wingers for progressive passes received during his time with BVB. And he still does a bit of all those things, but doesn't excel in any category. With Ten Hag searching for consistency, and England chock full of talented alternatives, neither team will be keen to hand minutes to such an unreliable performer. Does he offer the work rate or strength of Saka, the intensity and killer instinct of Foden, or the movement of Sterling? With a host of more versatile and informed players competing for his spot in the squad, Sancho can't be surprised if he experiences the World Cup from a sofa. Ferran Torres. Xavi has rightly earned plaudits for his work at Barcelona, including on this channel where we've covered the Spaniards' tactical changes which have returned the Blaugrana to their more traditional style, but the battle to restore the soul of Barca hasn't been without casualties, and after just a year in charge, Xavi has already brought in 10 players and spent £190 million, more than Pep Guardiola did in his whole time with Bayern Munich. Some of those have already left, like Adama Traore and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but others have simply dropped out of the team, like Ferran Torres, who at £49 million places among the Catalans' 10 costliest signings of all time, ahead of Dani Alves, Fabregas and David Villa. And at first, it looked like the former Manchester City man would repay his fee, with 7 wins and 7 goal involvements in his first 8 league appearances for the team, during which time Barca scored 4 goals on 5 occasions, including against Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid in statement victories. But in the following 10 games, Torres put up just 1 further assist, and he seems already to have lost his place in Xavi's plans, with just 3 starts so far in 22-23, and under 280 minutes in La Liga, only good for 16th among all Barcelona players. In that time, he has scored just once, and his expected goals per 90 have seen a further fall from 0.75 at City to 0.6 on his return to Spain to 0.5 at present. Making matters worse is Torres' desperation to fix the issue. With 4.4 shots each match, he's making more attempts on goal than ever before, but those shots are the furthest out they've ever been, 17 yards compared to a career average of 15. And he's only getting a quarter of them on target, which is also an historic low. His pass accuracy is down by 4% too. While minutes are a factor, he's yet to create a chance this term and has only passed into the box once. A poor return given Barca rank 8th in Europe's top 5 leagues for completing such balls. Add in a miserable work rate pressing opponents only 10 times a game, marginally less than Lewandowski, and a faltering dribble success with just 40% of his take-on attempts coming off, and a whopping 6 losses of possession per 90, and you have a player who can't be trusted on the ball, who seems to have lost sense of who he is, and who can't offer the vision or one-on-one ability boasted by Rafinha or Dembele, both of whom are presently putting up over twice as much XG per game as Torres. Given that 70 Spanish players across Europe's top 5 leagues have got more goal involvements than Torres this season, despite mostly playing for worse teams, it's hard to see the argument for keeping the 22-year-old in the World Cup squad. Another transfer might be his best option already. So that was our scout report on 3 players who don't deserve a World Cup spot. But do you agree with our choices? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.